Welcome to the Don't Know Much podcast, where we don't know much about anything. But what I do know is that people are really getting over dramatic for the gas prices. We talked earlier in a little group chat about, gas prices, how they've been here in Florida. They passed the $4 mark. I think nationally speaking, it reached over $5 a gallon. And honestly, I even in when I was younger, especially during high school, when they barely had any money, there was rarely a time where I actually cared about gas prices. I still needed to get gas. I mean, what was I going to do? Not get gas? I needed to get to point A to point B. And given how Florida doesn't have overall doesn't have the most amazing transportation system, you gotta play with the hand that you've been dealt with. So, I mean,
yeah, that's the same mindset I've always had where, like, whenever people complain about gas, it's like, damn, gas prices are expensive. Yep. All right, well, I got to still fill up my fucking tank. I mean, what's the alternative?
What's the alternative? Yeah, well, you can't go to Applebee's and get your freaking 4 for $20 or whatever the advertisement bundle is on a Friday. Oh boy,
I think I've only eaten at Applebee's once or twice in my lifetime. I think maybe like once. I don't remember what the fuck I even ate. It was like years ago.
I've never stepped foot in it, but I've eaten their food because someone's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna eat the rest of this. You want?" I'm like, "Okay, sure."
That's like takeout or something.
Yeah, basically. But
okay,
honestly. So, America's number one most sold vehicle is the Ford F-150. That's just the model, and Americans just love their pickup trucks. The thing is, most people who own pickup trucks don't really use it for the utility purpose. They just have a truck, just to have a truck.
It's a status symbol in certain redneck countries or redneck counties.
True. I mean, even in Texas, you look at that state, a lot of people drive pickup trucks. The thing is, every time I see like a clean pickup truck, I cringe a little bit, because at least growing up, me seeing all the pickup trucks that I've seen in my area, they were all dirty, carrying either loads of trash, because they some people have a what do you call those? They collect a whole bunch of trash and then they go sell it, or they have a bunch of iron or metal and they take it to a facility that takes scrap. They take it to a facility that has a whole bunch of just metal. They weigh your car. Then before you dump your metal, then they take a record of that. Then they weigh you again to see how much metal or how much material you gave out, and then you get your money. So every time I see these clean cars, these clean pickup trucks, like, I get it, but like, it's so inefficient and it's so expensive. Not even for gas, just expensive to buy, expensive to maintain, and that's really it. I can't.
A truck or a car?
A pickup truck.
Okay. If in my opinion, actually, me and my family, we bought like a really cheap, like beat up piece of shit green truck. Like, this thing didn't have air conditioning, right? But we bought it because it served the utility purpose. And I think, like, as a homeowner, I think I would like to have a cheap truck just sitting in my garage in case I ever need to go to a fucking Home Depot, because you don't want to like carry furniture and shit like that with a fucking Ford Focus. So thankfully
true.
I don't drive a Ford Focus. But I think having a truck around is not a bad thing, especially if you're a homeowner and you do a lot of like landscaping, or you do a lot of like construction work, or you just do or you just go back and forth and you put a lot of furniture in your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you get a lot of your money's worth a lot from just buying a really cheap, rickety ass fucking pickup truck. Like, I remember I drove that thing, and that thing was a piece of shit, but it worked. Like, we used it for when we were doing some construction in the house, and we saved a lot of money that way. Bought this cheap $1,000 truck. We shared it around the family, and serves our purpose. It's like a personal U-Haul truck, and this thing didn't even have fucking air conditioning, but damn, it was fun driving it though. I can't imagine like parking that son of a bitch, but you know what? I'm fine with my car right now.
That's why I brought up the whole thing that if I see a clean pickup truck, it's one of those things where you're like, I could tell that you're not using it for the intended purpose, right? So like
I said, it's a status symbol,
right? Obviously,
you go to the to the bars where they're playing the square dance, and you just say, "Hey, girl, you want to come over and let me show you a good ride?"
I will say though, like I've met people who had pickup trucks because it was just handed down and they want to keep it nice. That's totally the case. But now people who own SUVs and pickup trucks are really suffering the effects of increased gas prices. To tell you the truth, the only reason why I have an SUV is because I fixed it up. It was my aunt's old SUV. It's a 2004 vehicle, so like it had a whole bunch of issues. I fixed it up. Hey, I got a free car and I got to pay monthly fees on it. So who cares? The only thing I got to pay is insurance every every quarter. I think it's every like 3 months for me. So all I'm saying is that that's the only reason I have an SUV. I'm glad it has space, and honestly, I don't think I'm ever gonna like go back to a more traditional lower to the ground car because
Like
of
a sedan or a compact.
yeah. Honestly, I don't see what's the negative view of family vans because they're so dang practical, dude. They
It
got
makes sense.
they got good mileage. They got a lot of space. They got seats, a lot of seats. It's crazy. A lot of people's like, you got a van, dude. The van has everything. It's an SUV plus. All right, that's all I'm saying. You could do so much with it
Marcos.
except tow. What?
Hear me out for a minute. Do you remember in Ed and Eddie that fucking van they found at that dump? The one with the waterbed in the back?
Wasn't that a van?
Yeah, it's a van.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about it,
Yeah, the one. Didn't you want that fucking van when you were a kid?
dude? Ever since
I wanted that fucking van as a kid.
I've also wanted the Scooby Doo Mystery Machine ever since I watched the what do you call it, the live action films for Scooby Doo because it looked sick and I just thought
Yeah,
like I could
I
do
really
it.
wish that movie was PG-13 though. I think they cucked the shit out of it by making it PG. They really had to pull back because of that.
Yeah, given the feeling, the flow of the movie, I
Yeah,
can see
like,
why. I can agree.
That's literally what happened. Like they were working on making it PG-13 because they were like, let's just fuck it, let's just shoot the shit. But then like some executive like shit the pants. They're like, oh no, because like we did some like statistics and we had to make sure that like we hit all the demographics, so we can't make this PG-13. So we have to like cut a lot of the jokes. But that's what made that movie so fucking funny. It was like so self-aware that I love it. But you know, then again, it's been a minute. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like Vans, you know. Vans make sense, like if you know if you really think about it, but you know they're just not stylish, they're not sexy. It
not
looks lame.
cool, bro. It's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I've never been one picky for cars. Like every car I could think in the back of my, yeah, every single car I got was either a hand me down or someone picked it out for me and I just took it. Like my first car I had was a Chrysler Sebring, which is probably my favorite car, but it unfortunately was the one I had the most problems with. Mainly, it was my first car. It was a convertible. It was really cool looking. And you know, as a young high schooler who just graduated, like, you know, that shit was, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of nice though.
Right.
But you know, it was a 2-door, and I was taking these really big, heavy set fellas over to work as I was working with them at a call center. And let's just say I really tested the fuck out of those suspensions, taking those guys to work every day. So that was fun.
Oh, I remember. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it really felt fucking lopsided. That shit felt like that,
dude.
But you know, it was cool. Like I liked it. It was cold. You know, I put a nice you know, this is back when aux was still a thing. I don't know if kids nowadays ever heard the term, you know, pass me the aux. Like that shit was fucking crazy. You know, back then we had mixtapes. Now we had burnable CDs. Then we had aux, and now we have Bluetooth. You know.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up. My dad showed me when he was a picture of when he was I want to say like late teens, maybe early adults. I'm pretty sure it was like late teens or mid-teens. A sound system that was in 4 different ways. It's a home entertainment system type of stuff, right? And it had a vinyl record. It had a what was it? A equalizer for sound. I think an 8-track, a radio. And I think, what was it? This thing to record audio in. And then there's one more thing that I can't remember what it was. Yeah, a cassette tape, but you can record stuff and also like hear music from these cassette tapes. But he told
reel to reel.
Yeah, there you go. And what was crazy about it, he goes, dude, this is the shit at the time. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, right? It has everything at the time that everyone needed. During that time, I think it was like in the 80s.
Yeah, because formats were coming in and out so quickly.
Right. So he told me this thing cost about like $5,000, and we confirmed that. I'm like, dude, $5,000 for something like that? Like it took up a lot of space, and obviously, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. Technology really made things a whole lot more compact and a lot easier to deal with. So he showed me all this, and I was like, dang. So think about it with cars, right? When you were in a car, right? You had your own car. When cars started having their own entertainment systems, right? You wanted the one with a nice CD player with some nice speakers. Then you wanted one with a good radio system, right? You wanted to get good
Sirius XFM or something like that.
Basically,
like satellite radio.
Basically, Then you wanted one with a. Then they went to like CD player. You needed one with a CD player. No if, ands, or buts. Then they went to aux cord. Now it's just Bluetooth. So like as time goes on, obviously, we want more convenience.
One of my favorite images I've ever seen. It's like this blue picture. I think if I could find it, I'll describe it. But it's basically like all this like 80s equipment, like a calculator, a camera, a fucking TV, a radio, a game console. It's like all this stuff just like piled in together. And like in the text it says, all this used to be separate items. Now all of it fits in your pocket is like one phone, And what I find so funny is like people, I was watching Zoolander again. You've seen Zoolander, right, Marcos?
I think so. Let me
Is the one with Blue Steel, the one with the model?
I need to look it up. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
There was this joke in the movie where they're like making fun of like how tiny his phone was because at the time, I think around that time they were making fun of like, oh, cell phones are getting tinier and tinier, which is so funny because I feel like it's the opposite where it's like we went from wanting tiny phones to now we want bigger smartphones now.
Just because of the screen.
Like, yeah, and I think that's what it is because now we have to factor in the screen real estate rather than just using buttons. But yeah, going back to cars real quick. So yeah, I had a Chrysler Sebring, which I loved it. I loved that car, but it was a used car, and it unfortunately broke down, and it was one of those Chryslers where it's like once it breaks down, you need to shell out a lot of money to fix it. So we sold it to a guy who was like a collector, really weird guy. He just like we were just we go meet up the guy, we're like, hey, we're gonna sell you the car. We're about to give him all this favor. He's like, no, it's okay. I'm a collector. I collect these specific cars like this. And I'm like, you sure you don't want to know anything about it? Like, no. I just want the car. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So after I got that car, I got my mother's Hyundai car, which this car has been driven around the state probably 12 times over. So it was already a worn out piece of shit. But then eventually I have my current car, which is my Honda Accord, which I really like a lot. Which is funny because we're talking about like how you only paid the insurance of your car. My lease is about to end up later this year, so now I have to make the tough decision of what I want to do. Do I want to just buy the car outright with the bank? Do I want to lease another car out, or do I just want to be done with the lease and just go figure out afterwards? I'm probably just gonna buy the car outright because I like it too much, and it's gonna help me lower my monthly bill from what I'm paying for my lease. But if anybody's watching or listening, don't lease a fucking car. It's a scam. It's a bad idea. I bought this lease because my old car literally broke down on me and I needed a car at that moment, and I was emotional and I was frustrated. So like, to put in perspective, chat, like, let me tell you something. I had this car, right? I remember I had to go somewhere like in the Doral area to go pick up like something for my mom, right? I go park my car. Marcus, you might remember this story. I was sitting in my car for about an hour with the radio on because I'm just like, what the fuck am I going to do, right? The whole like fucking radiator just completely shits the bed. Like fluid is just pouring out of this fucking thing. And I live like 30 minutes away from my house at this point. So I managed to get the car going, and I managed to just barely make it out of the highway. And this car like shut down on me like 2 or 3 times on the road where I was almost practically running the red light at this point, right? And after I finally get home and my car, at this point the car's like already got like that gray smoke shit, not gray, but like that white smoke shit coming out. And I remember I was just like so fucking mad at looking at this thing. I was like praying like I hope this thing caught on fire at that point, because at least that would give me more satisfaction and joy than having to see this thing fucking move ever again, right? And I remember like after we decided like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna get you a lease, go tomorrow, da. I remember I was so fucking mad at this car, I started kicking the shit out of it. Like I'm fucking like drop kicking this motherfucker. I was like literally playing the bonus stage in Street Fighter 2 where I'm fucking up some dude's car, except it's mine.
Okay.
But yeah, after I got the lease, it's a great car. I liked it. It's fun and all, but man, I just don't recommend it because you really think about it, buying a lease is like the most expensive way to operate a vehicle, to quote Dave Ramsey. Because if you really think about it, you're basically borrowing a car at its full at the sticker price that they're telling you at the lot. But of course, cars depreciate over time in value. But now you go back to the place later, like 5 years later, they still want that original sticker price back as if the car is still worth that amount.
All right, chat. Now, after he just finished all that, let me tell you what a car guy thinks about leasing and Daniel's issue with his car. Now, sure, Daniel's car had issues. He definitely had a radiator issue, leaving it on for an hour and leaving it on idle. He probably didn't have enough radiator fluid in his radiator.
Oh, it wasn't
itself.
But it wasn't that at all.
I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing it out there. But when I first...
Well, I'll correct it. No, it's literally all it was just a hose pop. That was it.
Right. I was going to... Okay, so... Actually, you just reminded me of everything. Your car was such an easy fix when I saw it. I was just like, dude, this is me, younger me, who knew less about cars, and I'm like, this is just inexpensive and easy fix. I understand you not wanting a car. I get that. It gets annoying to
It was a headache, man. It was like breaking down on me like every time. You don't understand like the laundry list of shit I had to fix that thing. I fixed a car over more times. I should have bought a car at that point.
I usually, depending on the fix itself, I do like is it really worth buying a new car? Like sure, the comfort's there of buying the new car, getting a car that actually works, and all that stuff, because the lemon law protects you from what do you call it, shady business practices when it comes to buying a new car. I get that, but even then, the whole idea of not paying monthly for a vehicle, I'm just like, this is pretty sick. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to leasing, and I'm just telling you exactly how I'm telling you when it comes to my experiences with other people leasing. I've never personally leased. I just fixed up my cars. Leasing is in a similar field of a financial burden, like if you're renting out a house. You're only there permanently. If you think if you want to own this car to own it, and you're gonna have it for a lot longer than you think you're gonna have it for, than just whatever the lease period is, go for it. Much like, hey, are you gonna live in this place for less than 3 years, less than 2? Rent. If you think you're gonna be staying in the area for a lot longer than 2 years, you should consider a more permanent option if that is available to you. Also, if you're married, if you have children, you gotta,
and also factor in where the fuck you live, because the rental market here in Florida is fucking dog shit.
Right. Well, it depends on where you live exactly, because Orlando isn't that bad.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my Miami brethren here.
Right. I get that. So leasing is not that bad, especially if surprising.
If you
enough,
enjoy the idea, like, hey, I get to lease a car and I get to pay monthly and it's a brand new car, hey, man, I guess you could look at it that way. I've heard that argument.
No, this is the thing you're not looking at. It's not your car.
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying.
But you can treat that car, depending if you if you have what do you call it? If you have like mile limits that you can't pass, you have to follow that. However,
it's fucking stupid.
However, you can, at a red light, just put your foot on the damn throttle. Who cares? Transmission? What is that? Who cares about a transmission? It's not your car. You're gonna turn it in anyways. Or let's just say the transmission blows out, because every time there's a green light, the moment it turns green, you just go. You just let it rip. And guess what? You take it back to the dealership. They'll fix it up for you, and they'll give it back to you. Leasing is such a nice and what was it? If you're not a car person who knows how to work with cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Leasing a car is literally one of the best things, period, because you can't even do your oil change. Someone like me who knows how to do an oil change, it's super easy to do, and can get the oil and filter for super, super, super cheap. I want to spend on dang oil. It's super easy to do. Why can't I do it? I can get it done in 10 minutes, and that's it.
And I can't imagine driving to that fucking dealership. These people took like 6 hours to change a battery. I'm like,
Actually, cringe. But
hey,
look,
man, the way I looked at it, which is cheaper? Go get the battery change, sit in a chair for 6 hours to be uncomfortable, and get it for free, versus go have to buy the battery, then you got to install it.
I mean, I got the tools to install. It's just a couple.
Yeah, but you still got to buy a battery.
It's not that bad. You just turn in the core, and that's it. But yeah,
I get that, but you still have to buy the battery.
I get it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's something that I would rather do as a job I do for myself, because I know how to do it, and it's an easy job. I can do most fixes on the vehicle too, so I mean, it's not that bad. All I'm saying is, leasing for me it's not too much of a thing for me that I want, because or maybe if I want to lease to own, that could be an option. A little payment plan, whatever I need to do. Sure, I guess. But I prefer having the ownership of a car, because if I wanted to put in different rims, I can do that on a vehicle that's mine. I can't do that on a regular ass lease.
Which is what I'm looking forward to. If I do buy this car out with the bank, I'm looking forward to modding the shit out of this car.
Right. So that's one of the things I will say is hey, what do you want to do with that car, Daniel? Do you just want to get a new one? Do you want to do something different to that car? What do you have in mind? Yeah, you.
Me, like super basic shit, like maybe updating the speakers, maybe tinting my windows because I've been putting off of that. Let me think. I really want to install Android Auto. Like I was really enamored by it because my mom's Audi has like Android Auto and CarPlay, and I thought it was like super cool, right? But in reality, it's one of those things where it's like it's nice to have, but it's not really a necessity.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind having it in my car. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right. Of course.
But
I've heard about it. I mean, I haven't really heard any negative things about it because how can you mess up an audio system that's already competing with other audio services?
I mean, it's literally just your phone's like interface, but like on the car.
right,
Like,
right.
it's
Of
not
course.
like you're gonna be able to like read messages or shit like that. It's just like, hey, you now have a screen that's your GPS, and now you have a screen that's like just your Spotify, and then now you have a screen. But your mileage may vary because like when I used my mom's car, like it was kind of cool, like using her touchscreen to be like, oh, I'm gonna play this playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mind you, these screens are using are not like the fucking Teslas, where like Teslas have like the super iPad Max, fucking taking up the goddamn dashboard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like a tinier screen, and your mileage may vary depending on like if the processor in the fucking car is as fast or as snappy as it is. Like it's like you trying to like scroll and pick a song or pick like a playlist. It might take forever to load. It's like, well, you never use like a smartwatch, but it's like trying to use like Spotify and like on a smartwatch, like depending on the situation, it's either super slow or you just like pull out your phone and say, fuck it, I'm just gonna put my song like that. But again, it's like it's a neat thing to have just so you have that kind of like connectivity and like the sense of synchronicity, I think the word I want to use. It's kind of like having like a smartwatch. A smartwatch is an extension of your phone. Android Auto and CarPlay is like that, but with your car. That's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, and usually as technology advances, you can get more features. You know what? I wanted to bring this up now because I love watching this guy on YouTube. His name is Steve Lato, and he is a Michigan lawyer, a lawyer based off of Michigan. He is he mostly focuses on the lemon law, so vehicle protections and stuff, anything involving with vehicles. But he does other cases, obviously. And he brought up this case where when cars obviously first came out, they weren't as fast. Obviously, they were a nice thing to have. You put the fuel in, and boom, you just started driving, right? Obviously, as cars got faster, cars became a little bit more advanced. Safety precautions were a thing. So it wasn't until cars started to get more advanced that hey, we need a what do you call this? A safety system for it to make sure people don't die. So it became federally passed slowly, obviously, because the government isn't proactive; it's mostly reactive. Something happens and then they react. So that being said, seatbelts weren't a thing at the very beginning. Seatbelts were slowly added on, and then it was federally what do you call it? Given the stamp of approval that hey, every car needs it. Then came airbags, anti-block systems for your brakes, so on and so forth. And then in 2015 there was the reverse camera. When you
Oh yeah, I can't live without that. That's for fucking sure. If I'm ever getting a new car, I need to have a reverse camera. I am dog shit at driving reverse, and man, that's a life fucking saver for me.
So that being said, there was a case. I think it happened in Michigan. I could be wrong, but some lady was on the exit ramp, was from the highway to the exit ramp. She's a nurse. She just finished working or whatever her shift it was. There was some construction happening on the main highway, but she couldn't stop in time, I should say, to the cars that were stopped at the red light, and well, she hit the car in front of her. The car in front of her had a little girl in the back, and she ended up passing, due to her the impact itself. So I think the judge that is in charge of this case, that's seeing over this case, has given the green light to the mother to sue Jeep Chrysler for not having an automatic brake system. So this Jeep in particular had a $10,000 package. This package included installing a automatic brake system, which obviously we've seen those commercials, right? Where on TV
my car actually has an automatic brake system, actually, but
right.
It's a little bit more on the wonkier side, but yeah.
But still, it has it, and at this point, at this time, it's an optional feature. And for this lady,
it's funny because there's a whole story about that. But yeah, finish your thing.
Right. So we might see in the future cars, maybe like any car after 2025, having this automatic braking function. So it's nice to see as time passes. People obviously new regulations, new everything does not get passed. Blood needs to be shed. Money needs to be lost before anything happens. So it sucks that it is what it is now, but it's a change nonetheless that people seem like they want. Your car automatically braking before you even have time to react. That's nice. But yeah,
I never really felt like it helped me in that situation. But then again, I'm a pretty good driver. Like I'm fairly confident I could say that because like even I never. The only reason why I say I felt it wonky though is mainly not the brake system, but mainly the lane. I forget the term. It's like when you're deviating off of the lane.
Yeah. Lane assist feature.
Lane assist, yeah. I never liked it because there's a good reason why. Like, okay, so when I was driving to my old security job, there was a part of the highway where there wasn't any lane divisions for like a brief like second, right? So for some reason, the car would always lock the fuck up and always like panic into thinking like, oh shit, Daniel's like off the road, he's off-roading, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm just like, I have to like hold the wheel like super fucking tight to make sure it doesn't like shake like viciously, so it figures out where the fuck I am. Sometimes like it may come in clutch, but then again, I'm a fairly good driver. The only time it sucks is like sometimes you might be trying to like slowly jump like an exit, for example, but there's still a little bit of that line left before it opens up to be an exit. So there'll be times where like as I'm about to turn, the wheel will start shaking a little bit, letting me know like, hey yo dude, you gotta like get back into it. So the funny thing was that when I got my battery replaced, right? So my car battery was about to die, and I think I've told that I think I'm pretty sure I told the story about the Tyler the Creator concert ticket store, which by the way, I'm finally going to that concert in 2 weeks from now, so I'm freaking excited. This was like months in the waiting here. But long story short, one day my car started having this little error message saying that like, oh, something about like your assistant is busted, and I didn't think much of it. It's like, well, it's the car drives just fine. I'm not really gonna sweat it. I'm just gonna go do my thing. And then one day my mom is borrowing my car and she's like, oh, I noticed this error message in your car. What's that about? Like, oh, that's just like like the fucking lane deviation tool or stuff like that. I don't really care about that. I don't really want to fix it. It's like, oh, but you should probably like fix it though. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I go to the mechanic when I was getting my battery changed. Like, hey man, out of curiosity, like what's up with this thing? And I thought like you need like a software update or some shit like that, right? And he's like, oh no man, like you gotta like reset the thing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean like reset it? Like no, like we gotta take it out and put it back in the proper position. I'm like, well, why'd that happen? He's like, well, I don't know, did you hit something with it? I'm like, no. He's like, well, it's kind of misplaced and we kind of have to like move it around a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, how much is it gonna cost? $600. And I'm like, so I have to pay $600 for a feature I don't really want and don't even use to fix that? And he's just like, yeah, all right, fuck it, just fix the battery. I'm not even gonna sweat that shit. But eventually we did get it fixed anyways because my mom insisted it, so we did, and now I have it. But I don't know, I've never felt like I really needed it, but it may come in clutch, who knows? I don't know. I think I could safely say I'm a decent driver.
Yeah, that's also one of the things I don't like about leasing out cars, because sometimes some of these fixes are like super simple to do sometimes, but given the prices and the hourly rates of some dealerships, it gets sort of like annoying, and I'd rather not deal with it. I'd rather just fix my own things. Usually with older cars, this is easier said. This is much easier to do than newer cars, because newer cars, technology and all that stuff. But it's still the same concept nonetheless. But all I know is that I just don't really like the idea of leasing the car, and I can't do much to it. So in my old job, I would be working with some mechanics, and we're just working on planes and stuff. But either way, we would get annoyed that, hey, I just want to do a dang oil change. It's a Saturday. I have nothing else to do. Might as well do an oil change on my car, right? And well, they will literally charge you for doing your own oil, and they will basically penalize you just for doing your own oil. So that's why some of these people, especially those who are a little bit more car savvy, don't really like the idea too much of leasing, only because of the fines you'll get just from leasing the car. Because hey, it's not really your car. You can't make that call to do whatever jobs you want do in your car. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But either way, I do like this whole 30-minute car talk. I didn't think it'd go this far. From going to gas to going to I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's funny. But
I'm not much of a car guy myself. I'm just like four-wheel thing go vroom. I go McDonald's and come home. Like,
McDonald's.
That's what I do. I like Asmongold. It was just like, listen, the only time I get in my car is to go to get fucking Wendy's. Like, that's it.
I haven't had McDonald's in such a long time. I normally just get a Taco Bell, dude.
I never eaten a Taco Bell.
That's why I love those whole memes, like the 2 a.m. Taco Bell run. It's more like a passive rite of passage.
Rite of passage.
I was having a stroke there. Sorry. You know, we were speaking about this prior to recording, but I'm not sure if any of our listeners knew. But like, dude, the State of Play on PlayStation, I forgot it was even a thing. I forgot it even existed.
I thought it was a shadow drop. I thought like, oh shit, did Kanye drop the new State of Play? Oh, it's Sony. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Dude, I don't really care too much.
I didn't hear anything about it, but hey, man, you know what? I the way I look at it, if I fell asleep and I woke up like, hey, dude, there's gonna be State of Play. Like, all right, wake me up. Wake up the next day. Oh, the State of Play happened. All right, cool. Fall back asleep. Wake up the third day. All right, tell me what happened, because I really don't care.
Yeah, not being up to date about all the stuff really does wonders to you. Who cares if you're like, if you know the news right away as it drops? Honestly, I'm not really losing much if that happens.
No, it's just, my point is though, like, a direct is fun. Like, you look forward to it, even if it like nothing special announced. There's gonna be at least some excitement. You know what I'm saying? But like, a State of Play drops and it's just like, all right, cool. Like, less of a reason to get a PlayStation 5, and now I feel less bad that I don't own a PlayStation 5, because what, like, every game announced in that fucking thing is multi-platform except one, and I'm like, okay, we're just one down.
I mean, there's some games that I truly want to play. The thing is, they're not cross-platform or cross-save. Some Xbox games, some PlayStation games, which is cool and all, I guess. I don't mind it. You know, it's just, sometimes I just want to play with some homies who only have a PlayStation. I just want to play my PC. You know? I would love to play Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5 with some of my friends that have it on PlayStation 5, but you know, can't because, well, it's not cross-platform. Or I really am considering buying an Xbox Series X for one game, Daniel. Just one single dang game. And
what game is it?
Warframe. I have my...
You will buy a whole fucking console for a free-to-play game?
Here's the thing, though. I have so much save data on that game from when I played it a lot, like basically religiously, that I can't transfer the data over to PC, which I prefer playing it on PC, you know, because it's freaking PC. The thing is, I can't transfer it. And I've been getting that itch. I really want to play it. The thing is, what can I do except just not play it, except play on my Xbox One S, which the load times are atrocious, especially when you want to go to Earth. So, yeah, I want to get a $500 series... I mean, a $500 console just for one free-to-play game.
That's fucking stupid, but I mean, it's your money. I mean, like, I bought the Sony PlayStation 4 box for a Bloodborne that runs at 30 FPS with no anti-aliasing.
That's what I'm saying. Me too.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's about the hustle and grind. I mean, I continued on with Demon Souls, and then I sold the PlayStation. Now I still have Demon Souls. Now I have you guys to lend me your PlayStation 5 if I ever want to play Demon Souls. So I win.
I guess. All I know is that Warframe was such a fun game. It's still sort of fun. Obviously, the late game becomes a bit more. It burns you out quick if that's not your cup of tea. But like, that makes sense. All I'm saying is,
my thing with Warframe is I played a little bit of it in high school, because back when I just got my PC, you just wanted to play any game that you could get your hands on. I did not care enough about it, so back into the library goes.
Right, and I honestly, it was great playing with friends and whatnot. I just can't really play it on PC, and seeing it on PC, it's so beautiful, dude. It's night and day. Sure, on Xbox One X and on the PlayStation 5, it looks good. It's not PC. So it's one of those things that I'm probably not going to do unless someone goes, hey, you want my Xbox Series X for $200? I'm like, oh, what's wrong with it? Oh, nothing's wrong. I just don't need it. I have a kid. I'm not going to play games anymore or jobs or school or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll take it off your hands. But that's the only way I could see myself actually buying one. I'm not going to get a new one outright. But
it's like when I wanted a PlayStation 4, I told myself don't spend more than $150 on it, and I did. And then later I traded that in, and I got a Pro, and now here we are today. And now it's sitting right next to me to eventually be dusted off to play Bloodborne.
Are you going to homebrew it?
You know what? I haven't really thought about it. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. That might be a consideration.
Because I was considering getting one of my friends' PS4 Pro, getting it because he just doesn't really want it, and then just homebrew it. So I'm not going to play online games with it. Far from it. But I mean, the 60 frame mod for Bloodborne looks really, really beautiful. Looks real nice. It makes you
wonder why they haven't really like just made it official yet, but whatever.
Well, given the success of Demon Souls, Bluepoint has been put on the map real hard. A lot of people had a lot of speculations with Demon Souls, the remake itself, and well, those who have a negative view on it just have small PP energy, and they're definitely not small PP kings. They're just plebeians. So we respect our small PP kings. I'm one of them. Let's go. So that being said, given the success of Demon Souls and this remake, there's rumor running around about a Bloodborne remake for the PS5 only, and I can see that being a thing. Sure, I'm not praying to the sun gods over here saying like, oh, please let it happen. But no, it seems plausible because Demon Souls was a very, very popular game that basically created this cult following known as the Blood Soul series. And thanks to Sekiro and now Elden Ring, now it's become part of the mainstream, a heavy mainstream. Where
like it's crazy. Like even Doc is even playing it, which makes me so happy.
Not just Doc, over half of Twitch has been playing it for this week alone. Because of like,
no, for real.
The thing is, Sekiro and Elden Ring are more casual leaning games. Although Sekiro didn't have a whole bunch of min-maxing with stats, Elden Ring does. But Elden Ring gives you the ability to respec if you want. I
like to look at it more. It's more accessible. It's not like super like hardline. Like if you can't beat this boss, you're fucked. You cannot continue. Elden Ring is much more like open ended.
True, and once you reach level 50, that's when the game really begins, technically speaking. But yeah, you can respec, you can do everything. That's why I say it's a lot more casual, because it's not permanent. A lot of things aren't so permanent. You can't really, like, obviously, the Soulsborne formula is very linear, but it's very majestic seeing everything that they designed for the game. So, seeing the success of Sekiro, and to the point where it even got Game of the Year, a lot of people enjoyed Sekiro because of how, compared to the rest of the games, I'm not trying to insult it or belittle it. Sekiro is one of my favorite games because of the aesthetics. The story itself was great. It was a lot more casual than the rest. I think
the best way to look at it is like there's not as many options, therefore you can't fuck up as much.
True, and it wasn't as linear.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't. It was pretty open ended because I always thought about that. Like, what if you made a Dark Souls game where you could jump? And I thought, man, the possibilities are endless. And then when I saw that Elden Ring, I practically shit myself. I was like, oh my god, you could actually jump on command. The potential is there.
And obviously the sneaking was a very important mechanic as well in Sekiro.
Yeah, no more like awkwardly walking up to someone to sneak up on them. It's like I'm slowly going to backstab you now,
which is great. Honestly, I really did enjoy the change of pace, the change of style in Sekiro, and I'm glad that has not only was it successful, it was the most successful thing that Miyazaki.
And it was published by Activision, and it didn't fuck up.
Yeah,
how?
Probably because Miyazaki's like, hey, I make good games, y'all know. Let me do my thing, and they're like, all right,
don't fuck it up. I just don't know. I still don't know why it was Activision that published it. Like that's so.
They probably gave him the most amount of money for it. His cut, bigger cut.
But it was like only for one game. That's what's so weird to me.
Listen, the same way how I'm pretty sure there was a cut, there was some sort of deal when it came to like, hey, with Bloodborne, it's like, hey, I'm gonna do Sony. Here's the contract. They gave me a contract. I'm gonna take it because, well, money. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that may not be the case, but if it is the case, I won't be mad. Get your bag. Secure the bag, dude. Who cares? But that being said, I don't think the publisher can affect a lot of what do you call it? A lot.
The development, absolutely, they can.
No. Hear me out.
Not this game.
No. Hear me out. When you've already set a precedence on like who you are as a game development team, and you do your own thing, sure. Like we could look at Bungie, how they got screwed over by Activision with creating Destiny. It was supposed to be there should have been a Destiny 3, but there isn't. But given how much like big dick energy Miyazaki had, I'm not trying to like praise him or anything, but like there's a point where you can just say I'm not gonna do that, and they're just gonna go your own way. Santa Monica Studios is very similar in that regard as well, where with the God of War series, they're just like, hey, we're not gonna do all that. Like, I know we have to, that you really want us to, but like you gotta be realistic here. And ironically enough, funny enough, the executives are like, all right, like they weren't robotic about it, but they let it happen. So when companies, or at least gaming development studios, are big enough for certain games, and they're always moving around, they really don't care, and they'll just move somewhere else. That's why like a lot of people don't really care about, like, I personally don't care about the Epic launcher. I'm not sure about you, because people complain about having
different towards it. Yeah, like
I'm more indifferent. Yeah. Who cares, honestly? I rarely open up the Epic
it's
thing.
not the best, but it's like it works, like whatever,
Right. That being said, I think their next game, if it goes hardcore back to the original Souls formula, I don't know if it might be the smartest thing for them, given how successful, again, I'll say it again, with Sekiro was, given how successful with Demon Souls is. Elden Ring's a lot more accessible, like you said, a lot more casual. So given that's the case, to the point where even you said it, even Dr. Disrespect is playing it, would you make another casual game? Would you make another hardcore game that's more, it's very, very important how you min-max? I don't know.
I'm gonna throw you a spin. You know what I'm gonna say, Marcos?
What you got, man?
You know what they need to make right now? Strike while the iron's hot. We need a Kingsfield remake. Remake Kingsfield. In this remake, you die in the game punches you in the dick. You know what Kingsfield is, right?
Kingsfield?
You don't know about your From Software lore, I see. That was From Software's first game.
Yeah, wait, hold up. Don't remind me. I'm remembering. It's at the tip of my butthole, dude.
It's the game on the PlayStation, the first one, the PlayStation 1.
No, wait.
It's the first.
I've seen gameplay on PlayStation 2 though.
There is Kingsfields on the PS2, but I'm talking about like the first one. I'm talking about like the first one where like the first screen in the game is you turn right, there's a potion on the floor, you walk towards it, the ground below you crumbles, and then you die.
Dude,
how the fuck do you not know Kingsfield?
It sounds super familiar, and I might have touched on it a little bit. Not played it. I'm talking about like maybe I've seen it.
It's okay. I've never played it. I literally think it'd be torture to play it, but you know what? Like, fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just do Kingsfield.
Maybe. You think? I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be that bad.
Would it succeed? Probably not. But fuck it, dude. Like, the novelty alone is what gets me. Like, maybe just hire Bluepoint again to do it. Like, they're probably like, we could make that Bloodborne remake for PC, but that Kingsfield though is kind of calling to me.
All right, hear me out.
God damn, these fucking lizard people have thighs of thunder. Holy shit.
Hear me out. Right? So obviously Bloodborne has its own cult following, obviously, because of the Lovecraftian horror type of stuff, type of style. Now,
yeah,
there was
in my opinion, the best way I've ever seen a video game handle Lovecraft horror. It's so good.
Also, being American, I love the idea of beating up British people. So yeah.
You don't want to get involved with the knife crimes. You want to be a part of statistics.
Well, I mean, sure, there's pistols in that game, but I mean,
they're more like a suggestion.
Yeah,
they don't really.
You're using at this point. I'm just using a beast cleaver because it's basically the best game in the best weapon in the game. But also, London, no knives. You know how it is. But that being said, there was a mod, a fan mod where it's Bloodborne cart, and it looks so damn hilarious. It was a small little trailer-like video that came out years ago, and it was just so funny. The same carriage that takes you to Canehurst, you use that as a racing vehicle, and it was hilarious, and I like it.
Leave it to From Software to make one of the best areas of that game a completely optional area.
And somewhat out of the way to get after you going through a labyrinth of trees. And then once you get to it, it's not the easiest thing to survive in compared to the rest of the game. Obviously, the Nightmare Realm is annoying if you don't know what you're doing. Which, fun fact, I still know people who don't know that you can destroy the big brain. You can basically kill the big brain that constantly spews out light of insanity. And the game is very interesting. There's a lot of, like, especially with given how dense the game is, I don't mind it because it's the first game that doesn't have a illusionary wall in the main game.
What? Yeah, there is. Like, there's illusionary walls in that game.
In Bloodborne? No. In the Chalice Dungeons, yes.
Illusionary. My bad. I thought you were talking about fog walls. My bad.
No, illusionary walls where you hit them and then they disappear. Yeah. In the Chalice Dungeons, I think there is one, but it's like in a random, very, very random seed. And it's not.
It's a good thing it's a random fucking seed.
Yeah.
Did you ever visit the Cum Dungeon?
Is that the one without the freaking... Not the blue one, right? You're not talking about the blue one.
No. The Cum Dungeon is just a massive XP farm.
Oh, right. Yeah, you just hop in, you get a shit ton of souls, and you just head out.
Bump out, yeah, and then just come back again.
No, yeah, and you don't have to fight anyone. You just walk in, you get it.
Walk out, yeah. He falls off stage because some crazy hackers are like, "Yo, dude, I think I figured this shit out, dog."
Well, it's not hackers. Literally, what are those?
It's hex editing. Yeah, they literally just figured out, like, okay, just put the funny numbers, and then the numbers go wee.
Right, and then there's one where you can go. You have to go through the first level, and then once you're in the second level, there's a store that sells really, really, really great items for way cheaper than what they're supposed to be. Or, hey, this chest here has a at the end of the entire Chalice Dungeon, this chest right here has a what do you call this? A gem, a very, very, very powerful gem, and this is why I get to be level 43 in Bloodborne. I get to be a blue broccoli with the Moonlight Greatsword, and I can be at the starting area right before you fight what was her name?
Cleric Beast?
No, Cleric Beast is optional boss.
Father Gascoigne, Daddy Gascoigne.
The main boss after him. Amelia.
Oh, the wolf bitch, yeah.
Yeah. I stay there. And this is based off my friend because this is what he did, so I do the same thing to now. That is a sort of beginner area, so anyone who summons their friend to help them out, I invade them. I close with one of the gates that is a shortcut from the church to the boss fight, and then I kill both of them, and then I just head out. Being toxic, I get hate mail. It's fun, and I have problems.
I get doxxed. I get some funny, bottles thrown at me at the window, saying you're next. The Bloodborne experience. Hey, look at that, Mom! I'm getting invaded.
I love how there's a meta. Only if you want to, and it's like completely optional of like, hey, there's an invasion level meta. Do you want the most amount of players possible that you can invade? Well, this is the level, not levels, level that you need to be at. If you want to deal with people who are like mid to end game, you gotta be
twinking.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun what you can do within that. That's why I like Chalice Dungeons so much, because if you go deep into the game, you could do so much being low level. And obviously, you don't have to know much. You just got to Google something. And like you said, hey.
My favorite thing I've ever seen people do with the Chalice Dungeons, I personally have a laundry list with them. I can admit that they're fucking stupid. I think the idea of like, hey, From Software, these developers, they know how to make like really good, well-designed levels and making them all loop back together and get that sense of dopamine. Like, oh my God, I made a shortcut. Well,
right.
Fuck all that shit. We're gonna let the computers do with that. But god damn it, is the boss fights and the challenge like fucking stupid, and that's what makes me go back to them. But that's just my only complaint. Like, I hate them, but I still love playing them.
That's true.
That's just my only gripe. Like, okay, so why is the level design bad? Oh, it's because a computer made it. Okay, that explains it. So what can you do with this?
One of my favorite things is like, hey, you see this big ass lava dog? All right, cool. Now fight him, but in this enclosed space. And I'm like, all right, cool. I like that. And then even though
it only has one, it has a fucking one hit death fucking combo move.
One of my favorite Chalice Dungeons is the where you have, I think, half health. And no, you only have 30% health left, and the floor is nothing but poison. And you're like, guess I gotta go back, build, and then go back in. It was random. I'm having fun. Cool. And that's it. One thing I do like about Chalice Dungeons, and people don't really use it for this, but they should, is, and even in the game it tells you, hey, you suck too much. I got a solution for you, bruh. Your freaking fuck. What was the first hunter's name? The one that you see in the dream. Garum, right? He tells you, hey, buddy, you being casual. You gotta get good. Go to the Chalice Dungeons. Level up so much. Level up. Go get some items in there. It's randomly generated, sure, but guess what? That one boss fight that you couldn't do enough damage, do enough Chalice Dungeons. You go back in, and guess what? Now you can do damage to the boss. Now you can take a hit. And that's the one thing I did like about Bloodborne, where I'm like, you know what? This fight is super hard, or I'm just really, really bad. Let me go to the Chalice Dungeons. I actually got some gemstones. I got out, and I was able to do a decent amount of damage and actually survive. I only ever had to use it once. It was my first playthrough of it, but it worked for me. And I like that mechanic.
You know what my favorite enemy of the Chalice Dungeon was?
What is that?
The big fat guy who swings his giant hammer with you, and the only thing he wears is his Nikes.
Yeah,
he's
freaking like, naked. Literally my favorite. Yeah,
it's just like, but at least he got the Nikes though. At least he's.
I have a love-hate thing for him for one reason, because I 100% know I rolled. I 100% know I rolled to get out of his way. I somehow get hit. Like, I'm 10 feet away from him. I'm like, I mean, I guess. I get one-shotted, sure. But now he has my blood echoes. Now I got to kill him to get him back. And he's a little bit more stronger. Just slightly stronger. But he still one-shots me either way, so I don't care. But
still knocks you with his Nikes.
But yeah,
anyways,
the state of the play, didn't even know it was a thing.
Well, yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing. And most of it was just what I thought. Like, all right, cool. A bunch of shit that makes me look forward to those games not coming up, also coming to PC. So I'm gonna go with that. Xenoprimal is basically Dino Crisis 3. I think they made a Dino Crisis 2. I never played Dino Crisis, but I fuck with that. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, god damn it, you make the main character a girl with red hair and not call it Dino Crisis? Okay, Capcom, whatever the fuck you want to go with. Fuck it, dude. Oh, we're in the future now. We're fighting dinosaurs? Fuck yeah, dude. I used to love Dino Riders. You remember Dino Riders, Marcos? I'm surprised that shit never took the fuck off.
Dude, you just took me back. Dino Riders is not something I've heard for years.
Wasn't that shit fucking cool? Why the fuck did that show never happen?
Wow. I completely forgot that was even a thing. You just took me back. I love that feeling, though, when you get reminded of something super, super old, and you're like, dude, my brain has not traveled through this little memory lane, through this little brain lane. I
used to watch that fucking VHS tape so many times because I remembered it too. I think it was like side 2 of like a VHS of like the Ninja Turtles from like the 80s cartoon. That's why I have like a soft spot for the 80s Ninja Turtles. But speaking of which, you Ninja Turtles fans out there, yeah, there's like a massive Ninja Turtles collection coming out, which I'm kind of interested in because, yeah, like they include the NES games and shit like that. But hey, they did include Turtles in Time and the classic Ninja Turtles arcade game. If that has online play on it, I might get it because I actually really like that game a lot. I don't know if MAME has ever done like online play before. I never really looked much into arcade emulation. It's always been a little bit more wonkier for me than it is, but thankfully it's a lot easier now. But yeah, that's kind of cool. It's a bunch of random Ninja Turtles games from like the NES to the Genesis to the fucking Game Boy to like the arcade games. So that's pretty cool. Mainly the 2D the 2D platformer ones. New Stranger of Paradise demo still reminds me that this is a Final Fantasy game read by an American, and he was just like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna like put some like American shit right there. Like, I like that literally the main character interrupts the villain mid-speech. That is fucking funny. He literally, like, while the villain's like giving the speech about like what he's gonna do, he literally just said, yeah, fuck off, asshole. I don't really give a shit. I'm here to kick your ass.
You know what's crazy? Going back to the whole you brought up voice acting, or at least this guy reading something. One thing that it's very, very surprising for a Japanese studio that like From Software with most of their games, like the Soulsborne series, the voice acting in many languages is very, very good. It's amazing, actually. The Japanese and English, they have it like it's top tier because obviously it's a Japanese game, Japanese studio, like it's already like top tier there. The English voice acting, amazing too. But I'm not sure if you ever heard for any other languages. Obviously, I speak Spanish, I understand it, so I tried Spanish. I was shocked that obviously, we see the SpongeBob variant of the Spanish version of SpongeBob and all of these other cartoons. They're not the best. Dragon Ball Z, it's not the best.
I can't watch Dragon Ball Z in Japanese. I'm just gonna say that right now. I can't do it. Can't do it. I have nothing but respect for the voice actress for Goku. Nothing but respect for that woman. But I can't watch it. I can't. I have to watch it dubbed by Sean Trammell. It would drive me fucking nuts.
I like Japanese only because usually with Dragon Ball scheduling as well, especially for Dragon Ball Super, the Japanese came out first.
Oh yeah,
so
of course it's gonna take a while. Yeah, it's not like we're kids again from like Toonami that had to wait for the episodes to come out on Toonami. Like if you were one of those poor bastard kids who watched like Dragon Ball Z and WB Kids, you were fucked. Imagine watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry to get off of a tangent here. You would have to watch all the beginning of Dragon Ball Z up to the point where Goku beat the shit out of Raccoon, and then later, guess what? The show starts all over again.
Actually, ill.
Yeah, that's what happened. That would literally it would be like, no, that would drive me fucking nuts.
Actually, rest in peace whoever watched that. Jeez, but yeah, like even the Spanish versions on these From Software games, pretty good. I recommend it if you want to refresh yourself about a little bit of on Spanish. But yeah, state of the play, more like state of who cares, honestly.
More like state of Lays.
Well, but I can't remember the last time I ate Lay's chips, dude.
I mean, like, just go outside, open your mouth, and then start. It's fucking.
Wow, I get it though. Even though, do you know why they have that little pocket of air?
Wait. To be fair though, there was actually something else that really caught my eye. You know what's the one thing I was really excited that I didn't think it would actually happen?
What?
They're bringing back JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle with more content, and that's a multi-platform game, so I'm already excited for that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a deep fighter, from what I can understand. It really isn't. It kind of falls in that territory where, like, most anime fighting games, you know what I'm talking about, the anime brawlers, the Naruto Ninja Storms, the fucking One Hero Academia.
Speaking of which, the Demon Slayer game is following the same, like it looks like it's the same studio that made the Ninja Storm games for Naruto.
Yeah,
it's the same formula, except well, actually, no, it's exactly the same, except with swordsmen's. But
the reason why I say that though is because, like, I've been a stickler where it's like these games are like super hard to pick up. They're not super complex. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, when you play Street Fighter, it's simple. You have an arcade stick. You move left or right, up to jump. You have 6 buttons, 3 for punch, 3 for kick. Right.
Right.
I don't know if you've been like this, Marcos, and you probably have. Have you ever brought a friend of yours who's never played a Dragon Ball Z fighting game? Let's just say Budokai or Budokai Tenkaichi, if you want to be a little bit more specific. How many times have you made your friend play that game with you, and he had to go through the entire tutorial because he had no idea what the fuck he was doing?
Well, I mean, that's with most games too. With most fighting games, they gotta look at the combo list. They gotta look at maybe do a little warm up.
I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that because I could pick up Mortal Kombat, I could pick up Street Fighter, I could pick up Soul Calibur. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna be good at it.
Right, but you said a friend, right? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about any other friend who might have played a little fighting games here and there when they were invited to their cousin's house or invited to their friend's house, but it wasn't like something that they bought for themselves. This is someone who just, and I do the same thing too. I don't play a lot of 2D fighting games, but even the 3D fighting games, I'll stop. I'll look at the combo list real quick to see if it's the basic combo list for what people need to do, and then maybe do a little warm up to see what's its movements, what are their soft, heavy attacks, the range for the low and high attacks and middle attacks, stuff like that. It's just normal. You don't want to be constantly button mashing because that's even more annoying. That's even more dumb. It's not as fun if you just button mash.
To be fair though, it could be also because I'm describing mainly 2D fighting games, but I'm also talking about Soul Calibur or Tekken. Again, I get where you're coming from. There is going to be a skill gap, no matter. But what I'm talking about is if you got 2 people that have never played Budokai Tenkaichi and they both just went straight to the versus mode, they're going to be fucking garbage and they're not going to know what they're doing. Every Dragon Ball Z fighting game, aside from Fighters, I had to go through the tutorial to understand the basic mechanics. Okay, what the fuck is this? What is Dragon Rush? What's this and that? It's things you had to do a tutorial in order to play the game, which I'm not against. I'm not saying your tutorial shouldn't be there, but I think your fighting game needs to be in this level where it's like complex enough that you can get good at it, but you also have to make it easy enough for pick up and play, so people who don't play fighting games will pick it up and be like, all right, I want to get better at it, I want to learn how to play it. Like, look at Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers kind of threw everything off the wall because it's like you're not like fighting for a health bar, you're fighting to knock a dude out of a stage, but at the end of the day you have 3 buttons: jump, special, and main attack. Now granted, you have shields and this and that, but again, that was the basic gist of it. Anybody could pick up and play Smash Brothers.
Right.
When you go play like My Hero Academia or like fucking Dragon Ball Z or all these like anime brawler games, and I'm gonna just say it outright, I never looked at these games as like, okay, this is a game with the intention of being like super in depth enough that's gonna have a competitive scene. I look at this game like I look at like Super Nintendo Dragon Ball Z games or PlayStation 2 fucking Bleach games. You know what I'm saying? This game is a fucking commercial, or it's a piece of merchandise. Like, it doesn't look like, okay, a good example was, I remember when Dragon Ball FighterZ was coming out, right? Me and a coworker of mine were huge Dragon Ball fans. I told him I was fucking ecstatic for FighterZ. I thought this was it. This was made by Arc System Works. The art style is amazing. The gameplay looks like it's going to be super competitive. Da-da-da-da. He comes up to me and says, but yeah, man, but in Tenkaichi, I get to fly around and do all this crazy shit. Why is it stuck in 2D like this? I'm like, but dude, don't you get it, though? This is going to, like, put Dragon Ball Z as, like, an actual fighting game in EVO and shit. But it put things in perspective, though. Like, people are coming at it, like, 2 different ways. I wanted a super competitive, serious Dragon Ball Z fighting game. This guy just wanted to play a power fantasy that just has 5 different Gokus that you could play as. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't mind that either. I really like the idea of flying. The flying mechanic was always nice in Dragon Ball Z games, to tell you the truth.
That's fine. I love Tenkaichi 2. I really did. I played the shit out of it on the Wii. But to me, I was just like, okay, this is fine and all, but I want something serious, like something like really competitive, right? So going back to JoJo for a minute, the 2 current JoJo games I can think of, aside from that weird battle royale for the arcade, there was JoJo All-Star Battle, and then there was Eyes of Heaven, right? Which is more like an anime 3D brawler type. All-Star Battle was more like a 2D fighting game, but a little bit more slower down. And also, it doesn't help that both of these games do not run at a constant 60 FPS. I think that should be like the bog standard for any fucking fighting game.
Especially a fighting game, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's the reason why, like, the only game I ever returned for the Switch was SNK Heroines. Like, I thought you couldn't fuck that up, but, like, the frame rate drop was so goddamn noticeable that I was like, I don't know how you fucked this up, but I'm not going to play it because this just feels really awkward to play, you know? So, right. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I never thought All-Star Battle would ever get, like, a fucking re-release and get more content. But, hey, if I had to choose between Eyes of Heaven or All-Star Battle, which I own Eyes of Heaven, I'm glad that All-Star Battle is coming back with, a 2D fighting game. But it also looks really cool, and it's also multi-plat. So, definitely looking forward to that.
A lot of 2D fighting games, obviously, have their own following. People really, really like the whole... How far can I push this game with combos? How far can I push this character? Yada yada yada. That's one thing I do like about the 2D fighting games as a whole, because it's the thing of art, right? Obviously, Smash Bros. Changed the formula. Sakurai basically had a very innovative brain, even though he himself was a fighting. He loved fighting games, like what was it? SNK, King of Fighters.
Yeah, he was a massive King of Fighters fan.
Yeah, so like seeing that, hey, instead of let's just make a platform fighter, and that being introduced, obviously, I don't see it as a fighting game still. It's more of a party game type of thing. But like even then, like the competitive scene is pretty heavy. I like the whole casual aspect of Smash. And I've known plenty of players who started picking up actual fighting games just because they started playing Smash. Because they knew that, hey, there's more fighting games than just Smash. And it's pretty cool. So, I mean, to each their own. I get it. If you want to keep playing Smash, sure, go, more power to you. But everyone has their own cup of tea. I just can't play any fighting game the same way I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Third Strike. Because those are the 2 games that were the most popular around me. Even still as an adult, people view those 2 games as something else because it's one of those games that are like reached God status. So it's those are the 2 main games that I'm just like, all right. I'll just keep playing it. But
wait, what was the second game?
Third Strike, Street Fighter
Third Strike. Yeah, I love Third Strike. Yeah. It's definitely the Street Fighter.
It's the melee of Street Fighter is how a lot of people say in the Smash community.
Speaking of which, did you see Street Fighter 6's fucking NFT ass logo?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't believe that. Look.
I saw. I was like, oh, they're making NFT. Oh no, wait, that's the cover.
Yeah.
Why? It just looks so stupid. It's like, okay, so you got the S and F right. Okay, that's good. But shit, we got to put a 6. Okay, and then someone found out like, oh yeah, by the way, the design was actually from a $20 like freelancing website.
Dude, it's
And I look.
it's just cringe that a lot of companies, sure, look, they want to do NFTs for money because, you know, loot boxes aren't as popular anymore, but neither are NFTs. So, like, what's the point? Obviously, the PR for NFTs aren't as popular, but neither were for loot boxes. So, like, companies don't really care about what's popular or not. They just care about money. You know, they got to be the Mr. Krabs. They can have that Mr. Krabs mentality.
The joke is just like the way how it's a hexagon looks like on Twitter. It looks like it's a fucking NFT.
Yeah.
But the theory I've heard is just like, yeah, it's really jarring because like when you look at like all the Street Fighter logos up to that point, like they were stylized, they popped out, they looked nice. But the best way that people describe this new Street Fighter 6 logo is it's UFC, which
yeah,
I get it. I know, okay, yeah, it's the fucking ESPN and you guys are really banking on that fucking competitive scene, but man, does this look fucking lame. Like, okay, like add some color to it, not make it black and white and fucking, splash a 6 on it. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it looks ugly. It looks so ugly.
It's bad. I will say, though, that when it comes to just gaming as a whole, there's certain limits to, like, what I could muster in certain games. I'll get burnt out quickly on some games too. Like if I play like a lot of COD, I'll get burnt out quick. The same thing with fighting games. Fighting games, I get burnt out easily. The thing is with fighting games too, my body takes it way too seriously. And like with Smash, if I play for too long, I'll start sweating. I'll start doing everything. Like my brain goes really, really hard into like a Smash game or into a 2D fighting game where I get mentally burnt out, but then also physically. I'm not sure if you've had that with any recent fighting games, but with fighting games,
not a fighting game, but actually something recently happened. So I've been like putting off on like my thing is like I haven't been playing much of Elden Ring aside from like the performance issues. Is I told myself like if I'm gonna play Elden Ring, I want to make sure I have like nothing like taking up my time, which is my Hunt Showdown video. I've been like putting that off. I'm like, okay, I need to write the script down, I need to record, I need to edit because I want to get this video out.
Right.
Because I know for a fact if I start playing Elden Ring, I'm gonna put that off so much that I'm not even gonna touch it anymore. And that's what happened to me with Metroid Dread. I was gonna do a Metroid Dread video, but then later I got distracted with all these other games that I was just like, oh shit, like the video's already put in the back burner and I haven't done it yet. So maybe one day I will go back and play Metroid Dread, especially with the new content they're updating with rookie mode and fucking one touch death, you know.
Right.
I will go back to it. So, and that's how I felt yesterday when I was playing Hunt Showdown after work. I was like, you know what, I want to play something to like, you know, calm my nerve, like relax a little bit. But like Hunt Showdown is like one of those games where it's like every match could last an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is that like if you understand like the basic objective of Hunt, you have to go collect clues, go find the target, kill other hunters that could be trying to get the target too, you know? You have to play the game super slow. And when you're like me and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go to bed soon because I gotta go to work, you're kind of playing like a little bit, you know, reckless, and you start getting killed left, right, and center, and that makes you even fucking pissed and da 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 da. So I thought, and then that's when that moment hit me where it's just like, okay, either A, I need to play this on my day off, or B, I need to stop playing this game because clearly I want to play something else, but I need to do the Hunt video first before I start playing Elden Ring because I really want to play Elden Ring.
Elden Ring's great. Actually, we talked about what this whole episode's just been cars, From Software, and the state of play.
Yep.
I love it.
I think we made a good episode, actually. I think we should actually wrap up right now. It's getting kind of late.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. I'm sorry, by the way, if we forgot to mention, Kenny died. I mean, no, he's not actually dead, but he might have died. I don't know. Maybe we got up to this point, you might know he died. That you see, that was a trick. You see, there's actually, this episode's not even real. It's actually playing your head right now. Kenny, this whole thing wasn't even a thing. Kenny wasn't even a real person at this point. But he might come back, depending on if you took the happy pills yet. But we'll get back to that later. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. As you know, you can listen to us on Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify, and any other streaming services that host podcasts. If you let's see, I think I'm forgetting anything. Follow us on Twitter at DKM Podcast. And I think that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a good one. Stay safe, and till next time, try not to get invaded. See ya.